कृपा करो मुझ उपरे सुख निधि सहजानंद गुण तमारा गाववा बुद्धि आपजो सुख कंद गुण तमारा गाववा बुद्धि आपजो सुख कंद। श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय, अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय, महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय। As we celebrate or begin the celebrations of Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj's Janma Jayanti, and this is the first of the 2-week Parva, and we are reminiscing prasangs from Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj's life. Whenever we do celebrate Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj's life or the Guru's Janma Jayanti, it gives us an opportunity to reminisce on incidents from his life, which helps us grow fonder of him. The more we understand his mahima, the closer we get to the Satpurush, to our Guru. It also gives us an opportunity to gain inspiration from his life. The Satpurush is our role model. On the spiritual journey, the Satpurush defines our path. And the more we can learn from him, the closer we get towards becoming Brahmrup. Because obviously, as ગુણાત્યાન સ્વામી મેન્શન્ડ કે આપણો જન્મ બે વાત સિદ્ધ કરવા માટે થયો છે. એક તો અક્ષરરૂપ થવું અને બીજું પુરુષોત્તમમાં જોડાવું. અક્ષરરૂપ થવું means to become like the Satpurush. We are very fortunate that we have the Satpurush, a guru like Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj amidst us. And many of us have witnessed Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and the generation before us had Yogiji Maharaj and Shastriji Maharaj. A role model that we can look up towards and gain inspiration from. Bhagwan Swaminarayan came to this earth with a goal, with a purpose. Ke he wanted કે એક તો જીવનું કલ્યાણ કરવા માટે અક્ષર અને પુરુષોત્તમની ઉપાસના, and to propagate the અક્ષર પુરુષોત્તમ ઉપાસના, હરિભક્તોના ભાવ પૂરા કરવા માટે. So many reasons that Bhagwan Swaminarayan mentions why he came onto this earth. And we see that through the Guru Parampara, through their vicharan, through their travels, through their interaction with the Haribhaktos, gradually they were able to achieve these goals. Many of us have witnessed Pramukh Swami Maharaj, for 4 decades, how his vicharan was, the way he was interacting with his Haribhaktos. And that same style in which Pramukh Swami Maharaj used to do his vicharan, used to meet the Haribhaktos, we see that continuing even today. When we look at the life of Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, at this age, Swamiye vicharan je kai karyu છે, it is shocking when we look at the statistics or when we look at the figures. Just to look at the year 2018, 2019 and 2000. Obviously this year, because of the pandemic, Swami has spent more of his time in Nagpur. Other than that, 2018, Swami Shri had visited almost 54 villages, 54 cities and towns in 1 year. For a person who's at the age of 84, 85, to travel, and on average that would be changing every village 4 to 5 days, or every city 4 to 5 days. MI Swami international trips kari. 2018 ma Swami did an international tour. He visited, I think, about 6 different countries during that tour. 2019, Swami did two international tours, where Swami had gone to the Middle East and also had gone to Africa, and to add on to his travels to within India. So we realize that Swami Shri પણ ભીડો કેટલો બધો ખમતા હોય છે. And during the travels, there are so many different prasangs that give us opportunities to learn and gain inspiration from his life. To think about when Swami Shri was in Himmatnagar in 2018, at this age, Swami vicharan je કર્યું છે એની સાથે સાથે મુલાકાતો. We know Pramukh Swami Maharaj used to meet so many Haribhaktos in a day, and that every Haribhakta wanted to meet Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj as well. We know that when we were in London, many of the Haribhaktas had an opportunity to interact with Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. Similarly, that continued. In 2018, when Swami Shri was in Himmatnagar, in one day, Swami spent one time meeting almost 1,700 Haribhaktos in one day. And on average, it would go from 600, 700, 800, sometimes even 1,000 on average, like when he was in Surat. હિંમતનગર પછી બાપા જ્યારે સુરત ગયા તો સુરતની અંદર પણ આટલી બધી મુલાકાતો હતો, almost 1,000 people. સ્વામી જ્યાં જાય ત્યાં we would see big festivals as well. જોડીનો પર્વ હોય કે હોળીનો પર્વ હોય તે વખતે ફૂલો કી હોલી. So they would do these different celebrations. As Bhagwan Swaminarayan used to do celebrations in his time, similarly we can see those celebrations continued even today. Mahant Swami Maharaj જ્યારે હિંમતનગર હતા ત્યારે તો ઉત્સવ કર્યો, પણ સ્વામી was in Surat, તો તે વખતે સ્વામીએ જોડી પર્વ કરેલો. જોડી પર્વમાં સ્વામી had almost, there were 40,000 people in Surat. Surat is one of our biggest centers, but we can see that Swamini's જે magnetic personality છે, people from all over would come just for his darshan. Gunadayan Swami has explained કે આવા સંતના દર્શન કરે તો આંખના પાપ બળી જાય છે. With this mahima, people come to flock to so many in such loud crowds just to meet Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. Swami was in Surat, and all of a sudden one day during the full dole, Swami did Fulo Ki Holi, and on that day achanak all of a sudden Swami, when he came back to the Utaro, and he started asking the santos, and Swami said, I saw Tarun in the audience. I saw Tarun in the audience. And everybody goes, Swami, Tarun is still in London. He must have been, apna Tarun bhai છે ને એમને યાદ કરતા હતા. So one of the santos called Tarun bhai and found out કે Tarun bhai તો હજી લંડન છે. અને તરુણ ભાઈને પૂછ્યું કે where are you? And he goes, I'm in London. And he goes, what are you doing? He must have been at work or something. And then he goes, look, the santos explained કે બાપા તમને યાદ કરે છે. Swami is remembering you. And it was a very touching moment કે દૂર બેઠા બેઠા પણ સ્વામી આવી રીતે હરિભક્તોને યાદ કરે છે. When we told Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj he's in London, Swami goes, I could have sworn, in a way, I'm sure I saw him in the audience. તો સ્વામીને આવા ટાઈમે પણ હરિભક્તો આવી રીતે દૂર દૂરથી બધાને યાદ કરતા હોય છે. તો મેં કીધું સ્વામી ઇઝ લાઈક અ મેગ્નેટ. આવા જ્યાં જાય ત્યાં મોટા મોટા ઉત્સવો પણ થતા હોય છે. In 1 month, in the month of January, Swami she traveled about 6 cities that day. ત્યાંથી સ્વામી સારંગપુર ગયા, સારંગપુર જઈને સ્વામી ગોંડલ ગયા. ગોંડલમાં there was a huge ઉત્સવ at that time. We were celebrating the bicentenary celebrations of the Akshar Deri. પછી સ્મૃતિ મંદિર આખું નવું કર્યું હતું, તો એનો આખો ઉત્સવ સ્વામી તે વખતે ઉત્સવ ઉજવેલો. So we know that these big utsavs are also taking place at this age when Swami was there. Yet he would take time to meet all the santos and all the hari bhaktos. Come month February, Swami was now abroad. Swami had to travel abroad. તો ત્યાંથી સ્વામીને જવાનું થયું દિલ્હી, અને પછીથી the trip abroad started. When Swami was in Delhi, ત્યાં એક વખત ગ્રહણનો ઉત્સવ, ગ્રહણ આવ્યો, એટલે we had to do the grahan, the eclipse. And according to Bhagwan Swaminarayan's Agna, on the day of the eclipse, everybody is supposed to take some, Maharaj has said that you stop everything that you're doing and you spend that time doing bhajan. The timing of the eclipse was late night, so it was from around 9 to 11:30-ish. The santos went and told Bapa that Swami, look, the eclipse sabha is going to take place during these times. It's okay if you don't attend. And in the meantime, we request you. Sorry, it was from 6 to 9. And they said to Swami, look, it doesn't matter if you don't come. You come towards the end of the utsav. And in the meantime, if you have some other work, you can finish it off. So this is what the people who were organizing it said this to Mahant Swami Maharaj. Now, for all of us who have seen Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Grahan, the eclipse, Swami was very adamant about the Grahan. He would never let an eclipse go by just like that. Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, in a similar fashion, as soon as people said this to him, Swami got a little irritated. And he says, look, don't tell me, this is Maharaj's Agna and we have to be there. And so Swami insisted on following the Agna of the eclipse. And he made sure that he was there in the eclipse, during the eclipse sabha. It may sound like a small thing to us, but Maharaj has said in the Vachanamrit કે નાના માનવનો નિયમ હોય ને એ પણ મોટા પુરુષ ક્યારેય છોડતા નથી. તો સ્વામીના જીવનની અંદર આ દેખાય છે. From Delhi, Swami had to go to Melbourne, Australia. Singapore, and then from Singapore to Melbourne, Australia. It was a very long flight. Swami was, all the santos who were traveling with Bapa were also tired. Mahant Swami Maharaj that night got to Melbourne, and by the time he got to sleep in Melbourne, it was 2:30 a.m., very late in the night. Swami, according to his routine, woke up early in the morning the next day, did his puja. All the santos and the hari bhaktas who were with Mahant Swami Maharaj at that time had only one goal, that as soon as Swami Shri's puja finishes, everybody wanted to go to sleep, because we had a lot of the jet lag and the fatigue had caught up with everybody. And as soon as Swami Shri finished his puja, the Sevak Sant brought, the Bhandari Sant brought the thad for breakfast. So breakfast was ready. So they'd already done the breakfast, and they brought the breakfast in front of Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. And suddenly Mahant Swami Maharaj started looking very curiously, why are you bringing breakfast? And then he pointed at us and all the santos, and he goes, Haji, aarti karwani baki che. Everybody had forgotten કે આપણે આરતી કરવાની બાકી છે. Everybody but Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. આટલું બધું extensive, relentless, આવું બધું વિચરણ હોય, yet amidst such વિચરણ, ભગવાનને ક્યારેય સ્વામી ભૂલતા નથી. આપણને દેખાય છે. ડગલે ને પગલે Swami would never forget his arti, never forget his chesta. All these things we could see. From Melbourne, Swami went to Auckland. Auckland was a very modest mandir, a small mandir where all the Hari Bhakt, it was a small group of people, but yet they got immense amount of love with Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. And on one occasion, it was very interesting to see how Swami would walk from the mandir to the Utaro. Every day, twice in a day, he would have to walk from the Utaro to the mandir. And while he would walk from Mandir to Utaro, there would be a group of Hari Bhaktas that would line up and they would get Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj's blessings. On one occasion, when Swami was walking back from the hall, from the Mandir to the Utaro, a group of Hari Bhaktas was standing in a line. Swami went around meeting each and every one of them. And then from on the side, he noticed a little badak, he was being held by his grandfather. So Swami walked up to that little child and Swami was started to play with that little child. એની સાથે રમાડવા માંડ્યા. પછી છોકરાએ હાથ આગળ ધર્યો. And Swami grabbed his hand, started playing with him. Then the badak raised his other hand. As soon as he put his hand out, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj bowed down and the little boy put his hand on Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj's head. Mahant Swami Maharaj took the little boy's blessings. For a guru to come down to this level, it just shows his humility and how humble Swami is. So Swami was there for a couple of days, 7-8 days Swami was there. But in that short time, the affection that the Badaks had gained for the Satpurush, you could see that there's such a huge age difference. Yet, for the Badaks, Mahant Swami Maharaj was everything. And on the last day, the little kids, just like we would experience when Bapa used to be over here, you get very emotional because they grow so fond of him. And they were all crying. Swami was having his dinner and all the Badaks who were sitting there in front of him, they all started to cry. And it became, normally the bhojan darshan, while Swami would be eating, it would be a pretty eventful occasion. But on this occasion, it was very sad. Everybody was very quiet. But Mahant Swami Maharaj is a master of emotions. He knows exactly how to spin a mood. And suddenly he started to talk to these little kids. And there was music that was being played. And suddenly Swami started signaling, "Koi music vaage che?" And the Barak suddenly started to light up because then it became a quiz kind of thing. And Swami started playing with them, started interacting with them. All of a sudden, the mood had disappeared. The bad mood had disappeared. Everybody started having a good time with Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. He changed the mood. But even the little Badaks had grown so fond of Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, they did not want him to leave. ત્યાંથી પછી Swami Sydney ગયા. સિડનીમાં ફૂલડોલનો ઉત્સવ હતો. It was the first time that such a big utsav, such a big event on the day of Full Swami must have, the Satpurush had celebrated it abroad. So Swami had gone there. So again, these festivals still carried on. જે festivals મહારાજના વખતે આપણે જોઈએ છે, the Satpurush has carried on living up to those, celebrating those festivals as well. At the same time, મહારાજ એક વખત એવી વાત કરી કે ત્યાગનો પક્ષ મોડો કરીને અમે મંદિરો કર્યા છે. ગરરા section 2 number 27. Pramukh Sai Maharaj has also built so many mandirs. Similarly, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj continues that legacy. Even in Sydney, Swamino સંકલ્પ હતો કે એક શિખરબદ્ધ મંદિર કરવું છે. તો Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj in his previous trips has also made all the efforts to make sure that there was a Shikharbad Mandir over there. Right from the search of the land, all the way till all the plans that are being defined. Until then, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj was there. So Mahant Swami Maharaj went to Sydney for the Khatmurat. And, the land was it's all very flat and open land. So Swami એક વખત જ્યારે જમીન માટે જોવા માટે ગયા ને, all of a sudden there was a stranger amongst the crowd. So everybody was curious, who is this? Because he wasn't obviously somebody that people were familiar with. And so they asked him, and his name was Kenny. And he was a Vietnamese who was working on a farm which was nearby next to the land that we have in Sydney. So he saw some commotion, so he was very curious, and he saw a man in orange, so he thought, I want to come and seek his blessings. So then they introduced him to Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. એકદમ હાથ જોડીને Mahant Swami Maharaj આગળ નમી ગયો. Pachiti, they explained, this is what we're doing. And quickly he came back and he goes, Swami, I've brought some gifts for you. And he brought a whole box of fruits. And then he made his own pledge. Not did he just make his pledge, but he donated $1,000 for the Sydney Shikharbad Mandir. So we see that people from all walks of life would be attracted towards Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. Swami was in Gold Coast. And after the trip in Sydney, Swami went to Gold Coast. So ત્યાં એક 3 દિવસની શિબિર રાખી હતી. So there was a shibir for Kishores and Yuvak Yutis, and there was another shibir for just the Karyakars. Swami spent about 10 days in that shibir and gave a lot of love to all the Hari Bhaktos over there. On one occasion, Swami must have been, the shibir was in a hotel where you had to climb one flight of stairs. And one day it happened that normally Swami would take the flight of steps. He would climb up the stairs. But on this occasion, someone suggested, Swami, shall we take the lift? And so Swami went into the lift. Unfortunately, what happened was that the lift got stuck. Normally, it was a bit of an old lift, and it would take about 30 seconds to just get to one floor. Yet on this occasion, it took longer. So everybody who was in the lift realized that, okay, we're stuck. And without panicking, while the other santos are trying to figure out or communicate with people on the outside, the first thing that Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj did was he said કે ચલો આપણે ઠાકોરજીને ધૂન કરીએ. એટલે થોડોક સમય Mahant Swami Maharaj ધૂન ચાલુ કરી. And then ધૂન પતી એટલે as soon as the dhun was over, Mahant Swami Maharaj he started talking about prasangs, and he started remembering and reminiscing on different moments when him and Pramukh Swami Maharaj, they had got stuck in a lift sometime in New York, and the other different occasions started to unfold. But, he just kept the environment so nice and calm. Before you know it, it was 40 minutes, 39 minutes had already passed by. It was very interesting, that such a small group of people get stuck in a lift, but Mahant Swami Maharaj takes control, starts talking about the Satpurush. He used that opportunity again to do prarthana and to talk about his guru and reminisce on those prasangs as well. What was interesting, that after the event was over, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj asked the santos that has anybody gone and complained to the manager? And so someone said, look, I am going to file an official complaint tomorrow to the manager of the hotel. And Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj says, look, don't make a big deal of it. Just go very easy on the guy. Explain to him that lift bagdi gayi chhe and obviously we need to repair it. But don't go hard on the guy. Just be very calm and easy with him. Again, Swami very, very forgiving, very caring. Ke koinu, Swami evu bole, Swami ke eno wak to nathi pawa thai gyu. Em karine Swami just brushed it aside. So little things like this, when we notice that when you travel with the Satpurush, emno mahima apane vishesh ne vishesh samjato jai chhe. There was a Hari Bhakt by the name of Kushal. And Kushal lives in Gold Coast, but he's not able to see. And so this is his way of connecting with Bapa is through bhajans. He would sing bhajans. He knows almost probably 200 bhajans by heart. But he would sing these bhajans to Swami in his puja. And Pramukh Swami Maharaj had also seen this boy grow up. Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj has also seen him. And on one occasion, Swami was in Gold Coast. As soon as the puja was over and Kushal had sung a bhajan, Mahant Swami Maharajે નાસ્તો લઈ લીધો અને પછી Mahant Swami Maharaj યાદ કર્યું કે પેલો કુશલ ક્યાં ગયો, એને બોલાવો. એટલે અચાનક કુશલને બોલાવ્યો. Kushal comes up in anticipation that Swami wants probably to meet me about something. As soon as Mahant Swami Maharaj waited for Kushal to come. Kushal નીચેથી દોડતો ઉપર આવ્યો. As soon as he came up, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj got up and he bowed down to Kushal and he touched his feet at that point. Now, obviously, for Kushal, this was a very shocking moment because nobody ever expects their guru to bow down and touch their feet. But again, another expression of Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj is humility. Ke sant hoy, ke Hari Bhakt hoy, gamme te hoy, Swami આવી રીતે કરતા હતા. During those travels, when Swami had come back to India, Swami had gone to the south, to South India. At that point, Swami had gone to Sikandrabad, Swami had gone to Bangalore, Chennai, all these other places. Even during those visits, Swami had visited other senior gurus, Chinna Jiyar Swami, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, for leaders of the institutions, of different organizations to meet each other, or appreciation is, it's not interfaith, they're of the same faith, but leaders meeting each other creates a lot of harmony amongst the disciples of each organization. We see this in Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. Samethi, as soon as Chinna Jiyar Swami has expressed a view, ke mare Mahant Swami Maharaj, if Mahant Swami Maharaj can come over to my place. And on the last day, Mahant Swami Maharaj suddenly said, look, we should go and visit him. He has given us an invitation. Mahant Swami Maharaj went there. Chinna Jiyar Swami was very, very happy that Mahant Swami Maharaj had entertained his request. So Swami ત્યાં ગયા અને ત્યાં એમને પણ મળ્યા. આવી રીતે on different occasions, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj had met all these seniors. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Maharaj. Swami went to his ashram and spent some time there as well to meet him. We know of Pramukh Swami Maharaj used to meet all these world leaders and other interfaith religious leaders. Similarly, it's very nice to see that Mahant Swami Maharaj has carried on doing that. And not only that, it creates a lot of harmony amongst all the disciples of each group as well. Swami was in Bangalore at that time. And ek વખત, sometimes we underestimate or we don't realize કે સ્વામીના દર્શનથી લોકોને કેટલો લાભ થતો હોય છે. Swami was in Bangalore and suddenly Hari Bhakt had written a letter. It was a Mahila Hari Bhakt. What had actually happened was, she was not a Hari Bhakt, but she must have been living in Bangalore and had heard that Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj was in town. And so she was going through a lot of difficult times in her life. It came to a point where she had decided, to end her life. Many a time she had decided to end her life. And so today she had decided that this is it. I'll go to the Mandir, pay my final respects, and then I'm going to commit suicide. But as soon as she came into the Mandir, she saw, Mahant Swami Maharaj doing puja, and the whole atmosphere was very divine. It was and Mahant Swami Maharaj's presence just had captivated the whole audience. One glance at Mahant Swami Maharaj, she had one darshan of Puja Mahant Swami Maharaj, and all her thoughts changed. She wrote a letter expressing, her thanks to Puja Mahant Swami Maharaj for calming her down and changing her whole vichar. No, there was no updesh, there was no satsang, it was just his darshan. But yet again, sometimes we underestimate that the Satpurush's darshan has this powerful effect. So આવી રીતે બેંગ્લોરમાં પણ સ્વામી હતા ત્યારે આવા પ્રસંગ બની ગયા હતા. Again, when Swami was in Sarampur, so throughout his trip, Swami would visit different places. So Swami was in Sarampur on one occasion. And Swami, normally what would happen was Swami would do his Mangala Aarti. As soon as he would come down and come down the Mandir, there's Hanumanji and Ganpatina Dera che. So Swami would go there to do darshan. On one occasion, Swami realized that there were santos. He could see from the shadow that there were santos up, doing darshan from the balcony. So the next day, upar aarti chalti thi. As soon as Swami would come down, the santos would start the other aarti, the second aarti. And Swami knows that as soon as he went down, all the santos had started the second aarti. Swami saw from the shadow. Immediately, Swami, she turned around. He saw the santos up there. He looked at them. And pachi Swami santoni aarti avi rite utari. Again, another expression of Swami's humility and his respect or reverence towards all the santos. Ke Swami avi rite nana nana santone પણ આવી રીતે નતમસ્તક બનતા હોય છે. આવા જુદા જુદા પ્રસંગો સ્વામીનું વિચરણ તો ચાલુ જ રહે છે. બોચાસરની અંદર ગયા, પછી ત્યાંથી સ્વામી આણંદ ગયા, બોડેલી, ગોધરા, all these other villages Swami had traveled in 2018. As I mentioned, 54 towns and centers Swami had visited. Then in 2019, Swami had visited almost 40 cities, 2 international tours. We know the historic moment where Swami Shri did the Shilanyas Vidhi of the BAPS Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi, and where Sheikh Nayan, a very respected person, had actually come there to receive Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj. When we see these events, we realize કે એજ સંગ એજ રંગ જે પ્રમુખ સાહેબ મહારાજે જે રીત ચલાવી છે એની એ જ રીત પ્રમાણે પૂજ્ય મહંત સાહેબ મહારાજ continues to do that. 2020, a very probably a year that none of us are ever going to forget. But Swami took even this opportunity to write the Satsang Diksha. Although he is still in Nenpur, Swami took that opportunity to write the Satsang Diksha Granth. And Swami shared his sentiments. Many times we've heard Pramukh Sai Maharaj say કે મારે બધાને મળવું છે. We've heard Pujya Mahant Sai Maharaj also say કે મારે બધાને મળવું છે, પરંતુ આ સંજોગો એવા છે તો મારાથી મળાતું નથી. Just a couple of days ago, Pujya Mahant Sai Maharaj wrote a letter after the Satsang Diksha Parayan was finished. And in the letter, સ્વામી બહુ સરસ બોલે છે. સ્વામી કહે છે કે મારા જીવનની આ લાંબામાં લાંબી પારાયણ છે. For 63 days, Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj did the Satsang Diksha Granth Parayan. And he says કે મારા જીવનની આ લાંબામાં લાંબી પારાયણ છે. પ્યોર વાતો થઈ છે, માયા પરની વાતો થઈ છે, અક્ષર પુરુષોત્તમની વાતો થઈ. ખૂબ આનંદ આવ્યો છે. મને એમ રહ્યા કરતું હતું કે આ અક્ષર પુરુષોત્તમની વાતો, ગુરુ પરંપરાના જીવનની વાતો મારે 1-to-1 ઘરોઘર જઈને સમજાવી છે. પરંતુ કેટલીક મર્યાદા છે, તેને લઈને આ શક્ય નથી. પરંતુ આ ગ્રંથ ઘરોઘર પહોંચતા મને એમ થાય છે કે મારી ઘરોઘર પધરામણી થઈ ગઈ છે. This was his way of reaching out to every single Hari Bhakta, every single Satsangi. This is our Guru Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, and we are celebrating his Parva. Let us pray to our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj that we too can imbibe these virtues in our lives. Shri Swaminarayan Bhagwanani Jai.
Thank you for joining us today and listening with such devotion. Bhagavan Swaminarayan has taught us the power of listening to Katha. It purifies our mind and brings us closer to God. So if this Katha helped you, give it a like, subscribe for more, and share it with someone you care about. Until next time, Jai Swaminarayan.